I am the last of the Horodrim. I couldn't always claim this. In fact, if I had turned to the Horodric teachings sooner, Diablo could have been stopped before his reign of terror began.
You can't truly believe that.
When the first signs appeared, I did nothing. I had shrugged the old tales off like they were so much fantasy. And Tristram, no, the world, has paid dearly for my arrogance. I have tried to make up for my failings. Leah and I have spent her lifetime scouring the world, collecting pieces of the prophecy of the end days. If I can decipher it, we will have the key to defeating the Lords of Hell. The prophecy of the end days is contained within the Horodric tomes I inherited from my ancestor, Jared Cain. It is a warning to those who could interpret it regarding Hell's ultimate invasion of our world, written by many different people throughout history, in many different lands. All known versions of the prophecy are incomplete. I have spent a good part of the past 20 years trying to complete it. I am certain it holds the answers to defeating the Lords of Hell.
I notice a great fondness between you and Leah.
I do not know what my life would have been like had I not raised her. Oh, it must have been difficult for Leah, following an old man on a mad search for the secrets to defeating the Lords of the burning hells. But though she has seen her share of mysterious things, she is still unsure of my quest. I can understand. She has never seen anything like Diablo and his brothers.
You said Diablo drove Leoric mad?
Leoric resisted Diablo's attempts to possess him, but the effort left him weak and confused. When his son Albrecht was kidnapped to be a vessel for Diablo, it destroyed any sanity Leoric had left.
What happened after he became the Skeleton King?
He commanded an army of the dead deep within the cathedral, finally serving the Lord of Terror he had resisted while alive. Many adventurers tried and failed to slay the Skeleton King. It was left to Leoric's eldest son, Aiden, to finally kill the monster his father had become.
Bless you for saving Deckard Cain. I don't know what Leah would do, what any of us would do if Cain were truly lost.
The news continues to worsen. How can you continue to wade into the fray with nary a thought for your own safety? It is madness.
Oh, I value my own safety. But there are things I must know, and hiding behind walls will teach me nothing.
I volunteered to help because it seemed the right thing to do. But I'm no leader of men.
Perhaps you are more of a leader than you think.
That's a simple thing for you to say. You were born to fight monsters like the risen dead. Me? I'm just a farmer.
I've spent most of my life traveling from place to place with Uncle Deckard, while he did his crazy research.
What is he looking for?
He's convinced that the forces of hell will invade our world and bring about the end times. All these years, he's still searching for a way to stop this apocalypse.
What did you discover about your mother?
She wasn't from Tristram originally. She came here during the Troubles. She was in search of something, but I'm not sure what. She reminds me of Uncle Deckard, obsessed with the war between angels and demons.
How did your mother die?
Well, details are hazy, but I know that Adria was obsessed with chasing the arcane. She knew she could never raise a child. Uncle Deckard believes that the madness and horror of her life finally caught up with her.
So this is how it ends? They dragged my cart from the road, but for what? I can't get it repaired. Might as well dig a hole and die in it.
If that will make you feel better, perhaps you should.
Cleared out the old town and rescued Deckard Cain? I'm never betting against you again. Was it the Skeleton King meant to be dead? I mean, I know he was dead, but wasn't he supposed to be really dead? He should have the decency to stay dead. again.
Will Leoric's spirit never rest? Why was he cursed so?
You know what would take everyone's mind off their troubles? One of Theodos's great comedies.
I've seen one of them. Two men dressed as women screeching at each other and tearing their bodices. Huh, a Jimmy Rider.
Glad to hear it. Rehearsals in 3 hours.
Tristram used to be such a wonderful place to live. My family has been here since the town grew out of the ruins of old Tristram. But now, it's horrible. The loved ones we've buried and grieved over now threaten our lives.
Did you know that King Leoric had his own wife executed? Terrible, terrible things happened when he went mad.
How does one become a Templar anyway? Were you born to the Order?
No. Our scripture says, as a farmer reaps his wheat, so must the Order harvest and purify the weeds.
That seems a little unfair. You are not a weed.
You speak out of kindness, but you do not understand. When they took me, they saved my life and my immortal soul.
After King Leoric went mad, no one lived in these parts for a long time. Then adventurers were lured here by tales of riches to be found inside the old cathedral. New Tristram started when some traveling merchants decided to set down here to sell to the adventurers. It grew quickly. Lots of good farming in these parts. Well, before all of this started.
From the east shall come a monarch whose rule begins in blood and ends in bone. In the light of a comet will he die a third and final death at the hands of true men.
By the grace of the ancients, may your soul be warmed and brought to glory in righteousness. May the gods who abandoned us come to your aid one last time. By the grace of the ancients, may the gods who abandoned us come to your aid one last time. As the shepherd watches over his flock, so shall I care for those who seek to protect us.
And father was King Leoric's chancellor? Tell me about him.
Not much to tell. I lived with my father in Chaldeum at the time. We heard that my grandfather stayed in Tristram until the end, trying to save lives. Don't know if he succeeded, but there it is. When the Skeleton King fell, my grandfather was dying from a sword wound. He had the crown sealed with him to keep it safe.
I studied the fall of Tristram, but it is easy to forget that it happened to real people. Your grandfather was a brave man. I am sorry about your wife, Hadric. I wish it had not come to that.
You got nothing to apologize for. She was dying and you put her down.
Hadric, it is only proper to grieve for Mira. I can't imagine your pain. I've never been close to anyone.
I don't want to talk about my wife. Dead is dead and gone is gone. Do you want work done or
Every
not?
scholar of demonic law has heard of Deckard Cain. Thanks to you, I got to see him in the flesh.
The dead have been a bane on our existence since that cursed fire fell. We have to burn them, just to make sure they don't rise from the grave.
What can you tell me about Leah and her uncle, Deckard Cain?
Not too much, I'm afraid. They came here almost a year ago. She split her time between looking after him and helping out the town. He spent his days in the old cathedral, looking for old texts from what I hear. They were inside when that thing hit. She's lucky to be alive.
Did you hear? Old Rumford has us down to half rations. How are we supposed to fight if we're starving?
The rest of the town is down to quarter, including my wife. But you can quit if you want.
Leah spent all night alongside the blacksmith's wife, tending the wounded.
What? She was out defending the gates this morning. What is driving that woman?
You think you're some type of hero, here to save us all. The dead will feast on your bones as easily as they will ours.
Sorry, the ferry to Wortham isn't running. Can't take anyone anywhere with all that's happening around here. It's not safe.